The young man sat on a large rock by the river, his shoulders tense, his face shadowed with frustration. He had been trying so hard to control his life, to shape his future exactly as he had imagined. Yet every time he made progress, something would stand in his way. A failure, an unexpected challenge, a disappointment. He clenched his fists and threw a small stone into the river, watching as the ripples expanded outward before fading into nothing. From a short distance away, an old man observed him. Dressed in a simple, earth-toned robe, he leaned on a wooden staff, his face marked by age but softened with wisdom. He had seen many young men like this before, eager to fight against life itself, unwilling to bend. Slowly, the old man approached and stood beside the young man, who barely acknowledged his presence. The river continued its steady course, flowing around rocks and fallen branches, never stopping, never resisting. After a moment of silence, the old man gestured toward the water. "Look at the river," he said gently. "Do you see how it moves?" The young man followed his gaze. The water twisted and turned, effortlessly flowing around every obstacle in its path. It did not stop when it met a rock. It did not fight to push it aside. Instead, it adjusted, curved, and continued forward. Curious, the young man picked up a larger stone and placed it in the river. He expected to see resistance, to watch the water struggle against the new obstacle. But the river did not struggle. It simply shifted its path, flowing around the stone as if it had always been there. Something clicked in the young man's mind. He had spent his whole life trying to resist, trying to push against things he could not control. And yet, here was the river, moving forward not by force but by adapting. He turned to the old man, realization dawning in his eyes. The old man smiled, seeing the understanding settle within him. "Strength," he said, "is not always about standing firm. Sometimes true strength is knowing when to bend, when to adapt, and when to let go." The young man exhaled, his frustration melting away like mist in the morning sun. He watched the river a moment longer, then stood up, feeling lighter than he had in a long time. As the sun began to set, casting golden light over the water, the young man and the old man walked away together, their steps slow and steady. The river behind them continued its journey, unbothered, unhindered, and ever flowing.